Right, so on Roblox, there's a lot of shooter games like Phantom Forces and Arsenal, but those are more like arcade type shooters where you pretty much just point and shoot. But there's a couple games that are more realistic and actually require tactics and attention to play well. So this is a top three that I made about those realistic type games. So let's go. Also, we recently got 200 subscribers, which is awesome. So the first game we have is called Fireteam Remastered, which took a lot of inspiration from the game Squad, which is an awesome game, by the way. And once you've actually loaded into the game, in the menu you pick from two different teams, Insurgents and the USMC. Once you pick a team, you have to join a fire team, which is basically like a squad from games like Battlefield or Squad. There's a maximum of 5 people per squad, and once you join a squad, you then pick a role which has predetermined gear for you. For the insurgents, you get guns like AKs, PKMs, RPKs, other battle rifles, things like that. And on the US team, you get things like M4s, M27IRs, and M240Bs. But anyways, yeah, you can pick an optic for most primary weapons like ACOG sights, and once you've got your loadout covered, yeah, you can deploy. When you spawn in, you get a menu on the right that shows the keybinds for most things, which you can close by pressing 5. Uh, the controls are Q and E for leaning left and right, R to reload, T to jog, M for the map, C to lower your stance, X to raise your stance, and V changes the channel that you're speaking in, which is global, team, and squad chats. B is to place or destroy rallies as well as reviving teammates. G is to prepare the grenade launcher on guns that have one. And F is to change the fire mode between semi-auto and full auto on a gun that can support it. Y is to switch sights for optics that have two sights like the ACOG RMR. Then finally you have left alt for free look, which doesn't really work. And that's all for controls. Now, the objective of the game is to capture points on the map, like town or lumber mill, and hold them until the round ends. When you have objectives, the enemy team loses tickets. They lose 1 ticket per second for every point that your team has. So if you have 3 objectives taken, then the enemy team loses 3 tickets per second. The first team to run out of tickets loses. And in the bottom right, you can see your stamina, your magazine count, and your fire mode. 5 rounds means full auto, 1 round means semi-auto. And again, you can change your fire mode by pressing F. There's no way to see how many rounds are left in your magazine, so you'll just have to guess or wait until you run out of rounds. When you reload, it drops your magazine on the ground so you can't use it again. You lose stamina by sprinting, and then you get it back by walking or standing still. There's also a day and night cycle, which is when you can use night vision by pressing N. There's no way to mount your gun to reduce recoil or anything like that, which is kinda lame, but whatever. Other than that, the damage is pretty realistic. Headshots are an insta-kill, no matter the gun. Hits to the upper chest usually kill in like 1 to 3 hits. And that's all there is to say. The game is pretty good. Play it. Next, we have my favorite on the list, Standard Issue. Standard Issue is set in Ukraine. The 2 teams are Canada and Ukraine. Don't ask why those are the 2 factions, not even the developers know. Canada has better gear, but Ukraine has a tactical advantage with like cover and buildings and stuff. But in my opinion, the Ukraine guns are better. You can customize your character, but it's only for cosmetic purposes. You can also customize your loadout. Both teams get a different set of gear. Ukraine has older weapons like AKs, DP-27s, Mosin Nagants, etc., while Canada has weapons like C8s, A2s, C9 LMGs, and L96A1s. After you customize your kit, you can spawn in. Personally, as Ukraine, I like to run an SVD with a scope and suppressor with an MP40 secondary and a smoke as my grenade. And as Canada, I take a C7A1 with a C79 scope and a suppressor, USP45 secondary with a suppressor and a smoke grenade. There is a day-night cycle, and when it's night, you can enable night vision by pressing N. Ukraine has pretty terrible night vision, while Canada's night vision is pretty good. The keybinds are Shift to sprint and to focus your gun when scoping in, G to lower your weapon, B to use your bayonet if your weapon has one, 1, 2, and 3 to change between your gear, Z to change your optic type between normal and night vision, where night vision is less bright at night but harder to see in the day, and vice versa. V changes your firing mode if possible with your gun. C lowers your stance, X raises your stance, Control opens the compass, Alt to free look, Q and E to lean, 0 to reset your character.
And then he just fell over and died.
T also aims your gun if you're on a laptop or something. R to reload. And that's about it with controls. The goal of the game is similar to Fireteam, except the map is smaller and more linear. There are only 4 objectives, A, B, C, and D. C and D are closer to the Ukraine spawn, while A and B are closer to the Canada spawn. When a game starts, what usually happens is Canada takes A and B, Ukraine takes D and C, and then most of the battles happen between B and C. Occasionally, one team will push forward and take an objective, sometimes even pushing all the way back to spawn, but the majority of the time you'll be fighting between B and C. By taking objectives, the enemy team loses this progress bar that you see at the top. We'll call these tickets. Once a team runs out of tickets, they have 100 respawns left. Once they run out of respawns, they lose and the other team wins, and then the game restarts. The mechanics aren't very complex. The way players are killed is similar to Fireteam. Headshots are an insta-kill. Chest shots are pretty lethal as well, especially if you're using a sniper rifle. Shots to the legs and arms won't do much. Running for too long will start to slow you down, and eventually you will not be able to sprint anymore until you regain your stamina. If you're breathing heavily, then your character is low on stamina and you should rest. If someone gets killed and leaves the game shortly after, the server will send a message to the whole chat in red that the player rage quit, which is hilarious. There is team killing in the game, but damaging or hurting your teammates will give you a warning on screen, and if you do it too much, you'll get kicked or even banned from the server. And that's about all there is to Standard Issue. Play it. The final game is called State of Anarchy, which is pretty much based off of Escape from Tarkov. There's currently 4 maps to choose from. Seaboard, which takes place in Ukraine. Metro, which takes place in an underground metro in Russia. Canada, which obviously takes place in Canada. And this new map called Alton Studios, which takes place in Tarkov, Russia. Tarkov is technically a different game, but it uses the exact same framework as State of Anarchy, so to me it just looks like a different map in State of Anarchy. Seaboard is a map that has a good mix of both CQB and long-range engagement, as well as medium range. It's an open map, but it has a decent amount of buildings. Metro is entirely indoors and has just CQB combat. Canada is almost entirely outdoors and covered in snow. There are very few buildings, and this makes for good sniper battles. The controls are similar to the other 2 games. Shift to sprint, C to lower your stance, X to raise your stance, right bracket to reset your character, Y to toggle the flashlight, N to toggle night vision if you have the battery charge for it, tab for inventory, 1 for first primary, 2nd for second primary, 3 for secondary, T to customize your weapon, O to open character customization, H to inspect your weapon, P to toggle the compass, Z to aim down sight as an alternative to right click. Hold B for free look, but it doesn't really work. U to remove the magazine, R to reload, V to change the rate of fire if possible. You can also press the tilde key to change your controls and a couple other settings. That's it for controls. You don't really have a set goal in this game and there's no way to win, but basically what you do is go around the map looking for supplies like guns, ammo, and meds, and then you just shoot everyone you see. That's literally all there is to it. Your gear does not save when you leave the game, but that doesn't really matter since it's not very hard to find good loot. The damage system is basically the same as the other two games. There is a way to make groups, but there's no way to know who's friendly and who's not. I don't know if this game has bullet travel and drop or not, because there's no visible tracers, and I've never been far enough while shooting at someone to notice any bullet drop or travel time, so I don't know. Also, this is my favorite site in the game. Plus, here's this little Easter egg I found, if you can even call it that. That's about it with State of Anarchy. Really nice game. Well, that's my top 3 realistic shooter games in Roblox: Fireteam, Standard Issue, and State of Anarchy. They all have community Discord servers as well, so I'll link the games and their servers if you want to join those in the description. But yeah, thanks for watching. Proszę.